Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike. T-Roy is in the house. How are you, T?
I am so good.
Yeah?
I can't even stand it.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Keeping it local with Sponge,
Always.
25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Rotten Pinata.
Rotten pinata, rotten pinata.
Love that tune.
Yeah.
Love it.
This is in honor of Vin blowing us off.
Yeah, exactly. I was
again.
trying to get Vin in here today. That would have been fun. Isis is in the house. How are you, Isis?
Oh, great, Michael.
Good. Thanks for being here. Travis is running around here, too.
Somewhere.
Glad we got a full house. Our dear friend J. Chris Newberg. Chris Newberg is in town. Chris, how are you?
Hi.
How you doing, pal?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Is this when I read this? Is this when I read this?
No.
I don't.
Let me
start
get through
off.
introductions first.
Oh, okay. I was ready.
Just saying hello. Your wonderful, beautiful girlfriend is here, Michelle Dion.
Hi.
The lovely
Michelle
and talented Michelle
Thanks
Dion.
for having me back.
Of course. Are you kidding me? I just ran to the airport and picked her up.
You wouldn't do that for me.
No, not a chance. But
And I ran into Jay at the airport, too, in baggage claim.
Jay
Really?
Adams.
Jay Adams.
Oh, no
yeah.
kidding.
Yep.
She didn't say
Oh,
hi
Jay.
to him, but
Big
Okay,
J.
That's funny.
He's hard to miss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
why
coming
didn't you
back
say
from
hi?
Oklahoma City, was he?
I didn't know it was Jay. I would have went up and said hi, but I wasn't sure. And then I've had zero sleep, so,
Yeah, you were doing karaoke last night at like 9:45.
Oh, yeah.
And then had like a 5 a.m. flight today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
What a trooper.
Yeah. But
My
youth.
Red Bull.
Remember youth when we could do that sort of shit?
Barely.
Stay up all night and just keep going?
I can barely do it.
Yeah, well, you're better than us.
He's got a Costco-sized Red Bull. So.
yes,
There you
I'm
go.
solid.
And she met
Good to
Ray.
go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
We stopped by.
Checking
and-
all the boxes.
Yeah.
Who's Ray?
Ray's a kid Troy went to kindergarten with. I went to high school with him, and he runs the gas station on the corner. So we had to stop in and get Red Bull
Okay.
for the lovely and talented.
Of course.
So I was like, hey, you might as well meet Ray while you're here.
She met Ray.
Yeah. I thought about having Ray in here, but he's so racist that I just don't think it would work. You know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, he's so bad.
Oh, yeah. No,
you know?
no. Yeah,
So it's like, yeah,
not a good
Ray.
idea.
He's like, I got to come do your show one day. And I'm like, we could talk about old childhood stuff. I'm like, dude, you're just way too fucking racist.
Oh, my
There's
God.
no way I could throw you on a microphone.
Yeah, it's-
Would not end well. That's for sure.
No. I mean, we get ourselves in enough trouble. We don't need,
do you guys
Ray
get in
into
trouble?
it. Sure, well, some people bitch, but
What do you
no,
mean?
It's okay. It
it's
doesn't
all
really
right.
matter.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't bother.
They can't vote us off the island, so
Right on.
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's your
Yeah.
island.
Exactly. Chris Newberg, you're going to be at Ridley's Comedy Castle,
I am
4th Street in Royal Oak, right? 4th Street, I believe.
4th and Royal Oak. Yeah.
Yeah.
4th and Troy.
You damn right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's 4th,
we
it's
call
and
it.
you.
It's 4th and T-Roy.
That's right.
Actually, tonight 7:30 show. So that's why we're going a little early here and get you out of here.
Yeah.
So you can get to the show, and then Friday nights, one show 7:15.
Yep.
And then 2 shows on Saturday the 27th. You've got a 7 o'clock and a 9:30. We'll all be at the 9:30.
Okay. I
So
should
that's
probably
going to
be there too.
Yeah, you should. You should come.
I'll swing by.
Supposed
Yeah.
to be a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. What are you working on? Because you just released a special.
I didn't release it yet. I filmed
Recorded,
it. I
yeah.
recorded
Oh, you
it.
recorded it. It's not released yet.
No, it probably
have
won't
it.
be. Yeah, I sent it to you guys. It probably won't be out for like. I need to send it to Travis too. By the way, I have to. Because if I don't send it to Travis,
shaking his head.
I'm gonna get a fucking text message.
Uh-huh.
But no,
The fact that I already have it and he doesn't, I can tell he's just look at the steam
yeah,
coming out of
I
his
can
ears.
tell. I can tell.
Yeah, he's in a stew. Grab the
But,
potatoes and carrots. Trav's in a stew.
But I mean, it's fair because the last time Travis was here, he wonderfully recorded me at One Night Stands,
Mm-hmm.
but he never sent it to me, so I don't know what it was. Whatever what do you mean I didn't ask for it? I thought it was assumed.
Yeah, Travis, I would think that's assumed if you're recording the show that you would get the
Never
talent
wanted
a
it.
copy of it. But
I even I sent out the hinting
You
text.
never
I'm
asked
like,
for it.
I'm like, yeah, you have a chance to listen to it? How's it sound? Really? Yeah.
The quality was wonderful.
Yeah.
Content.
Content was rough.
So are you able to? So since it's not been released, are you still able to do that material?
I'm gonna have to tonight. I haven't had a chance to go over. I went on stage last night, and it was rough. And it wasn't rough to the extent that like I was afraid or anything, but I was firing blanks.
Really?
Yeah, I was up there. I've got
What's a Wednesday like at the castle?
It was surprisingly busy.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was just a bunch of. No one has. I don't want to talk shit about new comics because they're nice people, but no one is more confident than a new comedian. No one has more.
Really?
No one has more. I'm a badass. Like he's an anomaly. He was like, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to be good.
I was gonna say I did not have that,
And he
but
was
Yeah.
good. But so many of them are so fucking cocky, and you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you're the first one to ever do a masturbation joke, dude.
Right.
Way
Yeah.
to own it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's social media? Did you notice that when you were growing up, or do you think not growing up but starting, or do you think that's social media now that they get some people on their Facebook that gives them likes and they think, oh yeah, I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, social media is sort of like the hand job of online. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, yay, and everyone's paying attention to you, and it's just like it gets its hooks into the younger people so much so. It's like I've talked to people who are they're like, you hear people say things like, I haven't posted today, or I haven't posted this week, and it's just like I don't want to lose my fans, and it's just like I'm gonna get sick over
Yeah.
how delusional that sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me, though, honestly. I get that anxiety, too.
Really?
Like, I haven't posted, yeah, because that's where that's where I get a lot of my like gigs and stuff is through Instagram and messaging and things like
Yeah,
that. So you
sure.
feel like you want to keep up with it. But TikTok's become huge for comedians to like get their
Yeah.
content out there.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those minute-long snippets.
And I don't have, but the thing I learned yesterday was there's so many comedians who are content with releasing a 30-second snippet of them killing
Yeah.
because they're not killing for, they're not releasing an hour.
Right.
And it's like,
they've got a good joke.
Yeah. And it's infuriating as a joke writer.
Yeah.
And as someone who likes the art of it to watch that because I don't have any interest in putting my stuff up there like that. I'm probably like the reason it's probably the wrong approach, but it's the correct approach for my own happiness. I want people to find it organically. I want people to be into it because they're into it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm minimalizing so much of my audience by doing that. But the people who are there because they want to be.
Right.
Not because I fucking shoved it down their throat 85 times.
Yeah. On
And it's
TikTok.
like, yeah, I don't. And I get it. And it's like, it works. It literally, those are the people who are working in clubs in Los Angeles every show, every set.
Yeah.
It's like, at whoever can bring in 200 people. And that's more important than being funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. It's a weird turn
Yeah.
for the art,
It definitely is. But it's just, it's also beneficial for a lot of people because it's opening up a lot of people to comedy. And it's making people, I don't know if it's making people want to come back to comedy or more people do comedy. But it's just definitely it's a great opportunity. It's like MySpace was all of a sudden. It's like it's an opportunity for artists to be seen in small doses.
Yeah. Well, comics today are, podcasts too, are the only place you can really go balls out and say really, when you're going for the punchline, we go hard in the paint every show and we don't believe half of the shit we're saying. It's just about being funny. And it's like, this is absurd to a level. We're just going to say it.
Yeah.
You can't do that on radio now. You don't see it in Hollywood anymore. I don't know what it's like for you on stage nowadays. If you're seeing that, like comics not holding back anymore, like I'm done with this woke shit. I'm just going for it.
I mean, the end of the day, regardless of whether you're just going to go for it and not be influenced by quote unquote woke shit, you still
Yeah.
have to be funny.
Right.
And you can be funny as fuck doing woke stuff. If
Yeah.
you're funny, you're funny. It doesn't matter if you're clean, if you're dirty, it's just if you're funny. And it's just like, I interviewed some girl the other day for the prank show I'm on, and this girl was 27. It was the wokest person I've ever spoke to, and I was just like, okay, this is a real human. I have to communicate with this human,
Sure.
and I have to figure my way out. And I was like, all right. And I'm going through my standardized questions for the interview, and I'm like, favorite celebrity, and she's just like, celebrity worship gives us incorrect feelings. And I'm just like, and I go, and then she just gave this super long answer, and I go, so like Megan the Stallion, is that fine? Can I write her? And she's like, yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's exhausting
It's exhausting.
because no one can take a joke unless it's on their terms. And you guys have talked about it. I think I said it the last time I was here. Everything is hand fed to the individual now in social
Yeah.
media. So it's like if I wake up in the morning and I'm a comedian, 85% of my feed is comics, comedians, jokes, stand up, people, flyers for whatever. If you're like Joe, the lawn cutter guy, you probably see a bunch of agricultural stuff. Cool, whatever. I don't know. I'm just picking a profession. And it's like everybody has their own thing. So all of a sudden, if you come outside of your bubble, like this is your bubble, this is everyone's bubble.
The phone, yeah.
Like once you get outside your bubble, you're subjected to his bubble, and your bubble and everyone else's bubble.
Right.
So it's like when you're up on stage, they're used to what they're used to. And then you talk and it's what you're used to, which may or may not be. And it's just so confusing, like how archaic it is all of a sudden. It's like, so
Yeah.
I just go back to, I don't give a fuck. I
But
mean,
you've stepped in it before.
as far as gotten in trouble,
Yeah.
probably more so than I'd want to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess. But
I think you even apologized for something you said
it's possible.
recently in a tweet. I don't remember what you were being called out for.
But at this point in time, it's more important for me. It's more important for me personally to apologize to maintain employment in a city that focuses so much on that.
yeah.
So yeah, will I have hundreds of people go, "You're pussy, sell out. You don't say what you want." No, I'm working. I have insurance. It's like I can do stand up when I want now, and it's cool. But it's just definitely.
Are there topics you won't touch because you know it could potentially set off?
I know where I'm comfortable speaking, and I know where I'm comfortable not speaking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and ever talk to. I think I posted something. I made a joke about, and I don't remember the context of the joke, but this woman read me the riot act, and she was right. I was like, I was talking about how I walked across the street or something. Cop didn't even pull me over, something like that.
Yeah.
Something tone deaf, something idiotic, and this woman was like, "How fucking dare you?" And she's just like, and she cited examples of her children. And she's like, you went to Brother Rice, you grew up in Oakland County, you didn't have any of those issues. And I just listened to this woman. I was like, yeah, she's right. I have no business talking about it. So I'm aware of it.
Doesn't part of you want to go, shut the fuck?
But wasn't that just like a dumb Facebook Live video? Am I wrong? Was that recent?
I don't remember when it was.
Okay,
But it was it could have been a couple years ago. And
Oh shit! Because I thought you had something on Facebook Live recently where there was some police in your area or something. I thought that was it.
No, the only person I got in trouble from with that was her because
It was me.
I got in trouble.
He's literally on our block like, "Oh, we live on these cross streets." And I'm like, "What are you doing? You're telling
Yeah,
everyone our
yeah.
address?"
I tell everyone our phone number. I don't care. I don't think anyone's gonna come kill us. I just don't. And so yeah, I got in trouble for that. But no, I'm more cautious of how I treat people in a work environment because there are so many young people who work on my show. And the last show I was on, the Crime Scene Kitchen, there were these two contestants that I would not enter their trailer alone without someone.
Really?
Yeah, because of the fact that they were just pulling shadiness. They were like
girls, guys?
girls. People were saying things to make them feel uncomfortable, and they had improper pronoun usage, and it was disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not saying a fucking word to these people. But
Yeah.
so whenever I went in there,
What a miserable life.
but
To walk around
they manipulated
claiming
it perfect.
victimhood.
But they were only claiming victimhood for the purpose of manipulation, so they wouldn't be bothered all the time. No one would come see them because when you're on a TV show, you're poked and prodded constantly from the time you get there. You have makeup, you have wardrobe, you have producers, you have the showrunner, people popping in and out, telling you what to say, what to expect, what your story is, reminding you of something you said 6 months ago when you auditioned for the show. And there's like you're constantly busy. There's no opportunity. But if you're like, they made me feel uncomfortable, that person said something disrespectful. Now I can work for 4 hours because I'm not allowed to work because I'm on a show, but now I can secretly work for 4 hours because no one's going to bug me, so I can jump on my cell phone and take care of all my business at home.
Oh,
So it's just like and I never even thought of that being an option, but apparently
Yeah.
that's a thing. That's a thing as well.
It's
It's all how you play the game.
Yeah, good for them.
Well, it's an honor to work in that industry. It's very, very hard to break into it.
Yeah.
And I would think, that's just normal. If you're on a set, directors are going to bother you and producers and wardrobe, makeup, all that stuff just comes with it. I would think that would be exciting. And you wouldn't want to disturb that, manipulate that in any way. Like, it's such a fragile industry.
Well,
It seems like it's a risk.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but you can also just not be an asshole, and it's like it's just nice
Yeah.
to just like if you're just cool to the people who you're cool to, then you can't get in any trouble, and you just don't. It's just really interesting. I mean, to look at it from how I would look at it 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I'm on a show that's tons of girls to meet. I'm gonna have my opportunity to date all these different
Yeah.
people. I'm in whatever. Now I'm like, I don't want to get fired. I don't want to get blacklisted.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do the work, and then I'm gonna, I submit.
Well, you're a cisgendered white male.
Yeah, and I'm. But that's
worst.
We are the worst.
We are the worst.
We're the fucking worst.
But so funny.
It's not your fault.
But it's so funny
I
in
didn't do
Hollywood.
nothing.
But Hollywood's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
There's no diversity in any of those writing rooms.
No,
No.
they're
None.
trying to act like there is.
I heard a
Force
quote.
it.
I heard a quote from an exec at HGTV, and it was, "We want it to be the most diverse thing possible, and by that we mean the whitest."
What? No.
100%,
Why would someone even say that?
because they mean it. They're not. I'm not saying this because I believe it, but I'm just saying it's just like you have a lot of the people who are running shows in Hollywood are Caucasian, male or female. And everybody in whatever business you're in, I don't care what business it is, you bring your friends in.
Yeah.
And that's all they're doing. They're bringing their friends in.
Yeah, I could have diversified, but I brought Troy in.
He's the vanilla gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm half black.
So, but like I think we have 2 diversity people on this staff of over 100.
What? So you've got 98 white people and 2.
Not necessarily white, but just every yeah, I think so. Yeah, pretty much.
I just.
But it's like that's after everyone's freaking out saying diversity hire. Now on camera, it's totally different.
Totally different.
On camera, everything on camera is matched perfectly. You've seen all the commercials change. You've
Yeah.
seen, and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's
Overnight.
funny, and it's hysterical.
Yeah.
It's great, and it's really funny to see white dudes get mad about it
Yeah.
because it's like
Well, it feels forced. It doesn't feel natural in a lot of respects, and I think that's where it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. Like every kitchen table has to have an Asian guy, a fucking trans person, a dopey idiot middle-aged white guy, a gay brother, and it's like, yeah, that's just normal America. That's every round table in America, but it's in every commercial.
but it's also more real than you'd think outside of the bubble of like Oakland County.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like the diversity in California is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's just like that's what you look at a table with the one Asian, the one black, the one Hispanic. Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like if you go to dinner in
It's
Los
not the
Angeles.
writing room table.
The writing room table does
Why
not
is it?
have
Are
that look.
black guys not able to write?
They're
Oh!
some of the most funny human beings I've ever met in my entire life are black dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Then why aren't they in the writing room?
no
I would
idea.
think the goal is always to make money. And how do you make money? You put out really good content.
well, okay, look,
So if you've got talented black guys, it's like, he's black. I can't have him in the writing room. It doesn't make any sense.
okay, look at the 4 most talented black dudes I could probably think of off the top of my head, or most successful: Kevin Hart,
Yep.
Dave Chappelle,
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, hugely successful guy, the Medea guy,
Oh,
Tyler
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 Perry.
Perry.
Yep.
and up and coming. Oh God, he just hosted Kimmel. Gerard Carmichael.
Okay.
All those guys are incredible writers, and they use their friends. They always use their friends. So to answer your question, why are there no black dudes in the room? There are in writers' rooms for people who are successful, who have friends who are at the top.
Right.
But in the situations for if I land a show tomorrow, and I have to staff it, I know for a fact I'm gonna use my funniest fucking friends.
Yeah.
And I don't care what color they are. I don't care what gender they are. I'm going to use my funniest.
What if that
friends.
just happened to be that 99% of them happen to be white and male?
If they are unemployed at the time, then I would hire them.
Yeah.
But I would also make certain that there has to be diversity hires. There has to be. It's not.
One token to throw in there.
It's not even a question of that. I mean, that's all on that. There's specific requirements for each line producer and executive in charge for what they have to hire.
Yeah.
And cool. I'm all about. I mean, my motto and my position has always been, the best person for the job should have the job.
That's exactly right.
Right.
But of course,
Across the board.
but of course, there's not a lot of fair opportunities for the other people, and I don't think it'll ever change as long as the people who are in success continue to use their friends, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, it sort of makes sense. If you're comfortable with people, if you know them, you already know how well you can work together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that. And bringing in random people during an interview, that's dangerous because it's like
Crazy.
people can tell you anything they want.
Yeah, every
And-
crew I've ever worked on has always been like a bunch of people who've all worked together on stuff before.
They have the
Yeah.
relationships. Yeah.
And once you get on a team, like once you get yourself in a position, like the show I'm on now is the same show from the guy who was the showrunner for The Chase. So it's like, whatever that guy needs, anytime that guy needs whatever,
Yeah.
if he calls me 4 o'clock in the morning, hello, of course I was awake. Absolutely. What do you need?
Ready to go.
And that gets me a lot of
Yeah.
work.
It's irritating because there's so much propaganda that comes out of Hollywood, pushing narratives on us all the time. You know what I mean? It feels
Sure.
very, and the fact is, it's a very incestuous community. Hollywood is very small. To get in there is very difficult. And then, like you said, they hire their friends. It's like, oh, I worked with him on The Chase. Now I'm doing this other show. We had a great time together there, and he worked great, so I'm going to put him in here. It makes sense. But yeah, it doesn't leave the door open for a lot of.
It's so hard to get hired in one of those gigs. I mean, like, I couldn't even get a friend a writing assistant job, and that's an hourly position
Yeah.
because the show creators had to hire whoever they wanted for a writer's assistant.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's
Sounds like a football team where,
yeah.
a new regime comes in, they're going to hire their coaches.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is, and it's just like you can have, it's just and you can get so fucked in the same way. It's because, okay, for a dear friend of mine who I just finished one of the shows with, who worked on Hotties, she was Jade Cataprata was the host of The Soup after Joel McHale.
Okay.
So she gets the job at The Soup, and she's all excited, and she's like, "This is going to be the greatest." 2 weeks into her show setup, they changed power at E. So the person who was
They changed what?
power, whoever's running E left, and the new person came in. It was this guy from Oprah Winfrey's network, and he came in and he just torched her. He hated her. He didn't like her stuff. He didn't like her staff. He didn't like anything she did. The
Yeah.
show was off the air in 5 weeks after she was brought in, having auditioned in front of thousands. We got the job over thousands of people, full support of the network. All of a sudden, she comes in, and one
Dumped.
person is like, "No,
Yeah.
I hate this," and then that's that. So
Yeah.
it's like, but like all of their things, she hired all of her friends, and hired all of her friends, and so it is what it is. I'm repeating myself.
No, you're not. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I find your arc interesting as well because stand-up comedian you've been forever, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to go into TV and movies and make a name for myself, and you set wild goals, and then you've just made it happen. And I'm sitting here going, he's a middle-aged fucking cisgendered white guy in Hollywood. How the hell do you break into that world, coming from just basically straight stand-up?
It's just determination. It's just, I mean, a lack of having anything better to do. I mean, it's just, I never knew anything other than go after what I want.
Yeah.
And like, it was all the people I surrounded myself with. I knew that Mark Ridley, who ended up managing me first, was going to be my manager. The very first conversation I had with him, he told me about how he wanted to get hired in the union at the Fisher Theater, and they weren't hiring. So he went there every single day for 6 weeks until they hired him. He went on weekends. He went all the time. He stayed around. And eventually they were like, "Fine,
Yeah.
you're hired." And I was like, that's the dude I want to work with, because that's the guy who's going to do what I need. And I haven't had any different approach to that as I had doing stuff in music. And the older I've gotten, I've been able to more rein it in and focus it more. And it's all about, I mean, it's like, and it's something that people make fun of often, but I just have proof. It's just like the power of, there's such a weird power in positive thinking and manifestation that like my father was really good at. And I learned a lot from him, and like I've always kind of done it. I've always been
Yeah.
into like that sort of thing. And it's the only thing about it is it's just tiring.
Yeah.
It's really exhausting to be positive constantly.
Well, you mentioned your father. Your father recently passed away, and I
Sure.
mean very recently. I'm sorry
It's
for
10
your
minutes
loss.
ago.
Exactly.
He drove me here.
Dropped dead as soon as he
He's
dropped
like, "You
off.
good?" And then he
Yeah.
billed me first.
Seems like you've been working nonstop since the minute he passed.
Yeah,
Is this your way of coping?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Just bury yourself in work.
100%.
That's not going to manifest itself anywhere else in life. No, you're good.
No,
It's awesome. Bury your head. You're good.
It's just a lot. It's just the having. I mean, I haven't been unemployed since it went down, and it's like shows are full things. Like I come home, I ice my knees. I fucking don't talk to her for like a half hour. Like
Unless I'm icing his knees.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like one of those.
Why do you have to ice your
Because I'm
knees?
standing on cement for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And it just hurts.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I haven't had an opportunity to really process it. And so it's like this weekend and next weekend, I'm really processing, and next weekend's the actual ceremony. And
what, a celebration of life
I guess.
type thing?
Yeah, it's just like, and it's, I don't know. And my aunt is involved, and she's a bunch, and and it's just like, she wants to have it at the comedy club before a show, which there's only gonna be like 10 or 15 people who come anyway. And and I was like, you don't need to.
How do you feel like that about that?
I told her you don't need to make people come to a show of the son of the person because it's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But I was like, absolutely, let's start it at 5 and just have a couple of drinks at the bar that he liked, and we'll play video poker or whatever.
Yeah.
It's what he enjoyed doing.
You shouldn't have to be doing the show.
No, and
that.
but I'm going to, and then it's just like, it's just a lot of stuff going on. It's just
Yeah.
it's just chaotic internal energy.
Have you written a eulogy?
I have not. I'm afraid to because I'm
It's
gonna
the
do.
hardest thing I ever did.
I'm gonna do it the day
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, right on.
Day before, not a second
That's
before.
actually, I stayed up the whole night writing mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came out great, I think so,
I'm sure.
And it was one of those things where I kept putting it off, had all these different things going in my head, and and finally I just shut everything down. God, just said,
do it.
what I wanted to say, like
Yeah.
it wasn't about. I just finally said it from the heart,
Yeah.
and that was the best thing that could possibly.
How hard is that to read? That's got to be
Yeah.
fucking brutal.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's harder to read than to write.
I bet.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
day.
I could see. I could
Yeah.
totally see
Especially
that.
standing there looking in, everybody's eyes.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can tell it chokes you up to this
yeah.
to this
Yeah.
day. Still, I remember, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this or have had a moment like this, but when Bobby Kazitis died, it was a dear, dear friend of me and Tooch, and we worked together. And you've met Bob probably 100 times, Chris, because he was always at the station and stuff. And he died suddenly. It was a suicide. It was awful. And I went to the funeral, and his mom is losing her shit. It was horrible, and I couldn't cry. I couldn't. I'm like, and she's sobbing in my lap, going, "Bobby loved you so much, Mike. He loved you so much." Blah blah. And I'm just like hugging her, and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're not even human." And it was probably 5 days before it hit me. I was in the shower and just boom,
Yeah.
fucking lost it.
I haven't had that yet. I didn't know it's coming. It's almost come a couple of times.
Yeah.
There was a lot of comedy in the way that I was notified. It was unusual. So
Yeah.
I got home. I hadn't talked to him in a couple of days, and I kind of knew something was up, and I kept saying something's up. He's off. I don't get it. He's weird. I don't know. And I came home, and I don't know where I was. I think I went to the weed store, and I came home and I look, and I have a message that says, from someone I've never met before. It says, "Dad died. Call me." And I'm like
Facebook.
on Facebook, and I'm like,
Someone we didn't know.
and so I was like,
Gotta be kidding.
no. And so I look at it, and I'm like, I don't even know.
Like a post or a message?
No, it's a message.
message.
Dad died. Call me, and then an incorrect phone number, like a non-working.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
And so I say out loud, I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm like, I wonder what this is, because I've written eulogies for. I wrote a eulogy for a TDC person.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but I know he listens to the show all the time, and I can look at my phone afterwards and I'll tell you.
Okay.
But he's like, my father-in-law passed. He's like, I'm not very good with words, and so I wrote a eulogy for him.
Okay.
Great, whatever.
Awesome.
So I get Dad died. Call me, and it's so funny. This one is the most. She can go from 0 to tears in seconds,
Right.
not even.
I was crying in the shower.
So it's like-
an hour
Seriously?
later. Yeah.
No. So
Before you'd even confirmed anything, or
I was a mess because I had no idea what was going on.
But that was the comedy part of it. So it's like I go, it's weird. It's like, I think my dad died. I'm like, I don't know. And she immediately is like, ah! And I was like, no, I don't know. Maybe this person's dad died. It's a wrong number.
And I'm
I
like,
don't-
what? I can't
Yeah.
wait. Do I cry?
Somebody's dad died. I'm crying anyway.
So confusing.
oh my god,
And then I call this. I finally get a hold of this woman.
how did you do that? Through
Well,
Facebook?
I message her. I go, this is an incorrect number. And I said, this is kind of a shitty joke.
Yeah.
This is a joke. And so she called me. And I called my uncle and I said, go check on him. And then my stepmother called me. And it was so funny because it was just like, my stepmother didn't like him at all. And he didn't like her. Like, they were married for 30 years. They had a nasty divorce. They just didn't get along.
Yeah.
And they just did not like each other to the core. And you could feel it the last couple times you went over there. There was just like
But they stayed together?
they stayed together until she was done with it, whatever. But so 27 years of marriage, my dad's was kind of a wild dog. He liked to party a lot. And when I say like to party a lot, he could drink me and all of my friends under the table and then start smoking pot and then start whatever.
Did you do other drugs?
My father, yes, he was very, very experimental.
Yeah.
But, you know, and at first I was upset about it. And then I kind of realized, like, I think I was talking with Troy about it on the way here. It's like he was 70 plus. He had lived a successful life. He'd married. He had all the stuff he wanted. He lived with his dog. He just was bored.
Yeah.
He was done with it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be alone. And he had access to a bunch of money and a bunch of alcohol
Yeah.
and a bunch of drugs. And he died in his sleep because his heart just exploded.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it was when the stepmom called me, she's like, "Oh, he died this way." And I'm like, and it was like a mean way that he died.
Yeah.
And then the woman who sent me the message was checking on him. She's like, "Oh, the dogs ate him." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
remember that.
And I'm like, "What the fuck is
Gotta be shitting me.
No?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, how long has he been dead?" And I was like, "Dogs ate him."
Dogs don't eat them. Cats would.
And I talked to my uncle, and I was like, "I guess dogs ate him. It's gonna be weird." And so my uncle's just like, "All right, we're going over there. Dogs ate him." And I'm like, "I guess." And you know, then like a couple hours later, they're like, "Yep, he passed. He passed in his sleep. He's in full context. Dogs didn't eat him."
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like, you know, my stepmother, she was like, "Oh, he died this way, and he drank himself to death, and he never left his apartment." And I'm like, "I saw him a week ago. He did."
Yeah.
And like, and then the other one with the dogs, and I was just like, and then I got there, and like,
So who is this idiot talking about the dogs?
she was
Who was the rando that
Who
called him
is this?
dad?
it was a woman who
Dad died. Call me. Who is this?
it was a
moron?
woman who was checking on him who lived in her apartment complex, and I think they went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
Just
But
randomly-
not your dad died, like dad died.
Dad died,
Like it was
call
coming
me.
from a sibling.
And I was just like,
Crazy.
yeah, it was just, but
Is
like,
she like a foreigner who doesn't speak much English?
I don't know.
All she could muster was "Dad died. Call me."
I didn't really want to interview her. I mean, like, I believed her.
I think it was warranted, Chris.
Well, there's
just
more
didn't-
important things at the time.
In
She
that
claimed
moment-
that dogs ate your fucking dad. I
Yeah.
think a conversation is warranted.
No, there's no question. It's like it was definitely strange, and then it was just like, well, dogs ate your dad. He drank himself to death. He's not here anymore. But you don't need to come out for like a week. And I'm like, okay,
You have her number. We should blow a call in.
yeah. And then
Yeah,
like,
we
Get
should.
some clarification.
Set her up.
and then we drove all night to the funeral parlor, and I'm like, we drove like 4 a.m. to get there at 11, 7-hour drive, you know, white knuckling it just to get there. And you get there, and I couldn't not do material. Like,
Yeah.
it's like sad uncle, sad, quiet apology guy, and I'm doing jokes.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It's your cope. That's how you cope.
it's 100% how I cope, but it was 100% necessary. And yeah, it sucks.
Landau came in here
Yeah.
not too long ago, and he opened up. Like he sat down. He was like, "Yeah, my mom died. She committed suicide." It's like just what he opened with.
Yeah.
And he couldn't help but joke about it and talk about it, and it was like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, it's-
like it's a weird thing, but that's
It's so weird. I alienated the entire room last night when I began with "My dad just died."
really.
Because no one go, and it's a good joke, and it works, and it's true, but it's like everyone immediately is like,
Yeah.
and they think about their dad, their own mortality.
Yeah.
They didn't know mine. So it's like, I literally, as a comics will understand, I've dug myself a hole on purpose.
Right.
And if you open with "My mom just committed suicide," or "My dad just died,"
He made the whole room uncomfortable on purpose.
so you can dig out of it.
yes.
And because-
exactly.
And it's once you're as good as he is, and once you've been doing it as long as I have, you want the challenge. Just
Yeah.
making people laugh is
Well,
easy.
it took me off my game. Like I'm used to running this fucking circus.
Yeah.
And so the first thing out of his mouth is that, and it was like,
But
that
he
was
knows.
a curveball. Oh yeah, and it was great. It was great, but it was his way of just tipping the table a little bit, like shaking the fucking room up before
It
we
was
get
great.
going. Yeah, it was great.
And it's
but
his way of saying, my mom died. I
Right.
can talk about it however I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yeah.
however you feel, I don't give a fuck.
yeah,
And that's kind of where I am when I'm talking about it. And it's still like, but I realized last night there are buffers I need to put in, because if I don't, it's really weird. And it's like, okay, for example, I used to work with a comedian in Texas. I don't remember her name, but she was missing 4 of her fingers. And she had,
Isn't that all of them? The other one's a thumb.
she was like, well, she was missing, she had nubs, maybe nubs on a thumb, maybe whatever, it was a birth defect. Hilarious. She had the funniest jokes I've ever heard about a
Right.
disformed hand. And she would do them to horrific, like people were just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I said to her, I go, those jokes are great. And she goes, I'm never doing them again. They never work. And I said, just take it back from them. And she's like, explain. I said, go out there and be like, I have deformed hands and I have a whole bunch of jokes about them. I'm going to tell them these are for me. She, to this day, calls me and
Yeah.
says she kills because you take it away from them.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out tonight on the fly how to take it away from them before I fucking hit them with it for like a half hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do. And that's
Yeah.
what I want to do.
And that's a fun challenge for you.
it's all about insurance. And I think we all need it. And most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have. Who provides it? Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasick from Wasick Insurance Services change all. Brent has over 30 years in the business. He's 31. He was 1 year old and he started doing insurance. He offers all type of insurance coverage: auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, earthquake, hurricane, flooding. Ex-girlfriend is a whore. He covers
Dad's dying.
dad's dying, mom suicides. Call Brent Wasick at 734-455-1900 and get a free online, no obligation quote today. It doesn't say what the quote is. He could just be like, if you don't want me at my best, if you don't want me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Did you just quote Marilyn Monroe? Yeah, that was free. Again, that's 734-455-1900. Ask for Brent Wasick and Wasick Insurance.
Thank you, buddy. That was
Nice.
beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I'm here all day.
Michelle,
Yes.
is it hard for you, because I know how sensitive you are as a person.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, and can be brought to tears, like you said, in an instant. Having him make jokes about something as serious as a parent dying can't be.
I was so uncomfortable in the funeral.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Seriously, like I was like, okay, this is like a somber moment. We're picking out urns, and he's like, death, you gotta earn it. And I'm just like, oh Jesus. Like I didn't know whether to laugh. I was so confused. But honestly, like grieving with a comedian is
yeah.
the coolest thing ever. And like
Cruelest or coolest?
coolest because it's like a different way of approaching emotions, and we had some friends over and they were cracking jokes, and I was like, I've never been in this position before where we've been able to laugh.
Yeah.
And it was such a relief and a release to
Yeah.
be able to do that with people that you care about. And it was really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like everyone has to be depressed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
such
fine line
fi-
between being sad, and them being gone, and being able to celebrate their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that
Absolutely.
moment, you don't necessarily have to be sad they're gone. That's a time to, just reminisce almost. And
But everybody's uncomfortable
everybody
in those
handles it a
rooms.
different way, of course.
But comics, it doesn't surprise me at all that you get 3 or 4 comics in a room together. They can't help but go there.
Well, when Brody committed suicide, Russell and I did 25 minutes roasting Brody and suicide jokes.
Really?
We sat across from each other. It was like he literally picked
Not
up
on
the phone.
stage, but
No, we we were flying to a show, one of his shows, and we were at Van Nuys Airport, and we're sitting. It's like it's so bizarre. You're sitting in a private plane with like a huge star getting ready to do an arena.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like he literally looks at his phone. And he goes, "Oh shit, Brody Stevens just died." I was like, "Oh fuck." And then I like scroll and go, "I guess he committed suicide." That was it. 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of us could have felt better after doing it. And
Brody would have loved it,
Loved it.
yeah.
And I didn't know what else to do. It's like, what else do you do?
Yeah.
It's just like,
I mean, what were you going to do? Hug and cry?
no,
No.
you can't. I mean, and I'm sure that happens and that's part of it. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely like overall grieving. It's just like, It's just, it doesn't, like Troy
Do
said,
you
it
ever-
doesn't go away.
Yeah. Well, for someone like Michelle that's really sensitive and it doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you love that person any less. But have you ever thought like, oh God, I'm going to have a parent die someday soon. How long is it going to be before this idiot fucking cracks jokes?
Oh my God.
No,
Is
that
it-
it's, but it's not, those aren't my parents. I
Okay.
can't.
So that's a line.
Brody was considered.
But you're going to be holding back because you're going to be thinking of those jokes.
100%.
Yeah.
But I can't disrespect someone else's like parent. It's like it's just not funny. I mean,
But your
it's-
friends did when they came over and were.
I
yucking
was
up-
cool with it.
Yeah, but
I-
if
yeah,
I
she
was
wouldn't
like
be cool with it.
sobbing and you were
Yeah,
like,
I don't know that I would do that.
cracking jokes,
Yeah.
it
I mean,
would be- don't
but also I know
but-
that I would. I probably would. And I mean, it's like I can't not do that. That's how. I mean, like
It's the best medicine.
when I
I
was.
feel like it moves the energy too. Instead of just being stagnant in your
Yeah.
sadness, it's like you're releasing it in some way. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's cathartic.
It probably makes everybody a little more comfortable if you're comfortable with it,
Right.
because that
have to
that
be.
is the most uncomfortable room to walk into is a funeral home, and you see, old aunts and fucking weird uncles and friends you haven't seen in forever, and you're dressed up, which always makes me uncomfortable as hell, and it's like to have someone like, hey, we're okay, this is the circle of life, and I imagine that would be more helpful for everybody else in the room.
It just seems like a waste of energy to just like do nothing about it and just be a victim to it. Like I was so fortunate when I was really sick with my heart issues that I also joked it off. Like when the doctor was like, you have less than a week to live. And I was like, you couldn't give me a week. I'm like, and it's like, it was instant. And he's like, I'm being serious. And I'm like, I am as well.
Yeah,
7 days would have been dope.
Yeah.
And it's just how you do it. So it's just like I had to pick up the phone and call a bunch of different people. And I told from a joking perspective, I was like, well, I'm not supposed to be here much longer, so if you're going to come, next
Yeah.
week's probably not the week.
Yeah.
And I was just funny about it. And it worked out, obviously, luckily, but I didn't have anything. I mean, like, I'm still secretly in the back of my mind wonder what I'm going to put on my tombstone because it's like my final tweet. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the last thing I get to say.
Are you juggling with a couple? Have you thought about them?
No.
No.
But I mean, it's definitely the last thing you say. So why not say something cool?
I just want to disappear and have no one acknowledge it.
Like no headstone, nothing.
No, fucking nothing.
That'd be great.
headstone.
Dude, I was
No
like,
way.
just fucking torch me and dump me in the Pacific.
All right.
Like, seriously.
And I
I
guess
don't
it-
want a fucking event. I don't want a party. I don't want an acknowledgement. Nothing.
You don't want to have finger food? We're having finger food.
Finger food? Yeah, there you go. No, I don't know. I had this discussion with my parents recently. We were talking, and they were like, yeah, we don't want any shit either. Just fucking torch us and throw us in an urn somewhere, and don't worry about a funeral or nothing. I
It's
was like,
just such a crazy
oh,
conversation
that's
to
so
have.
awesome. It's fucking great. It was the greatest conversation I ever had with them. I'm like, I don't have to do any of that bullshit.
But
Awesome.
when you're sitting there, it's just like the most bizarre mall you could ever be at. It's like you're at a death mall, and it's like you sit down. They're like, "You want to see the luxury caskets? Do you want to see the medium And I'm like, "So wait a second. I can either spend $25,000, or I can spend $100.
Yeah. Give me the pine box.
Tell me." But it's like, it wasn't even my choice. He wanted a pine box. He wanted to be. That was the funny part about it. Like that in the moment was like when the guy's like, "Here are the urns. This is the basic model." So my uncle selects the chalice or whatever it is and the box. And the guy with a straight face is like, "So the outside of the box. We're thinking, do you want something on the outside of the box?" And there's like different like tattoos, urn tattoos that you can get. And I'm just listening to this and I'm like, I'm going to watch my uncle field this. And he's like, well, he was a sailor. He likes sailboats. And the guy goes, "You want us to put a sailboat on the box?" And my uncle's like, "Yeah." And he's like, he goes, "My brother also liked dogs." He goes, "We have a nice Irish setter we can put on the box." And I'm like, "So there's a sailboat and a dog that's on a box that's holding ashes. It's gonna be very okay." And I'm melting. I'm melting in this moment, and I'm just like, "Come on, who's not seeing this?" And I didn't say it, and I did do the urn joke, but like, it's just
It's a great joke. Death, you got to earn it.
It's a great joke.
It's a great joke.
But it's like, but like everything about it was the most ass backwards scenario. It's like the person who came in your mother is dead. There's
Yeah.
no more sperm. He's dead. So you got to drive from another state to agree and confirm that they're dead. You got to be like, no one just takes your word for it. And
So
then
you had to go identify something?
I wasn't going to be there on Monday. Otherwise, I would have had to identify.
Fuck.
But my
I
uncle
wouldn't
did.
wanna do
But I made my uncle take photographs of my father.
Seriously?
God.
And my uncle put a Detroit Lions hat on my dad when he was
Nice.
dead and sent it to me. And it's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
No way.
Yeah.
See, that's fucking
Yeah.
morbid.
But it's just like, but it's so funny because it's like in that moment I saw the picture.
so where's your dad when he's put a fucking lion's hat on him?
You can rent a casket. You can rent a showing casket.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
rented one for a couple $100. We rented the nice model,
Yeah.
and then we went around the corner when no one's looking, threw him in a wood box, threw a sailboat on it, and called it a day.
Did they actually put the Irish setter and the sailboat on it?
I get to see it in a week. I don't.
Oh,
I
be
haven't
done.
like the ceremony isn't like, and he wants it to be spread in the Sierras,
Okay.
and it's just like I'm gonna keep some. There's no question.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Make jewelry out of it?
I doubt it, but I'm sure I'll
Yeah.
just probably put it in a box somewhere and be like, "What's up, Dad?"
What about smoking a bowl and sprinkling some of the ashes?
I
in
don't
that?
smoke. She would, but that
I'm
would.
not gonna smoke your dad. I'm sorry.
But my dad would also.
love
My
Jim,
dad
but-
would have been cool with it.
Yeah.
He was
had
a
thing-
wild dog.
We had my dad wanted. We decided we were going to do his ashes up at the cottage at the lake. Right, there's this little place over by the loon, where the loon's nest that he used to always go and kayak. And so they make the one that's like it's basically like paper plates, but it's made for like a sea ceremony. Floats for like 5 minutes and then it disintegrates and goes down. But so we had like 2 pontoon boats, a bunch of us all. We all said something. We had a whole nice moment. We put it out there and we let it float. We didn't think about the fact that it was like 3 feet of crystal clear water.
Right.
And so we're all sitting there and we're just watching it and it's going and it was beautiful. It was amazing. The loon actually like came out and like swam around, was just like hanging out with us. Like it was just so surreal. And then all of a sudden the bottom went out and thump, just all the ashes just went just into a clump of shit just on the bottom of the fucking lake right there. And we're all like, okay, all right, good. I think we're done here. Good enough. Let's go. You know, but it was the thing because it was like the perfect ending to it because it was just like
I could just picture it.
I
The
was-
bottom falls out. Thunk. It's like,
boom.
"Ah, boy. Ah, boy."
okay, what do we do now? You know.
That's funny.
But yeah, they make everything. So there's a disintegrating 2 paper plates glued together that you can.
I mean, that job would.
That had a sailboat on it too, ironically enough.
Nice.
That job would suck.
What? Which one?
Sales at a fucking funeral parlor.
Yeah.
The engraver, the
feel like-
box engraver.
Did you feel taken advantage of? Because a lot of people, I
Not at all.
know you probably didn't, but there's a lot of people who feel like that's such a vulnerable moment that people are shattered. And it's like,
it's a hard
well,
conversation
how
to
about the
have.
$20,000 casket? I mean, if you really loved your father.
No, this guy wasn't pushing like
No.
expensive.
Trying to upsell you.
Cool.
And my uncle's been rich for a long time, and he's very frugal.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, we don't want that. We want this.
Yeah.
It's like $20. That's fine.
God, no part of it interests me. Like the attention,
Like people who want to get buried in a piano or a Cadillac.
the big gold casket, and everyone's crying. Like, that's the last thing I want.
I want the kiss casket.
You
Just
do?
keep that
Really?
in mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just
Yeah.
saw a dead one today with
Yeah.
big Steely
There,
on it.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Told the girls, I said, I
Yours-
don't want a casket. I go, but you can rent this one and then just burn me after.
Yeah, you got to have a steal your face.
Yeah.
Something on yours. Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it's a
Actually, just
big
saw it
part.
today.
Really? God, too much talk about death.
I
Sorry.
know.
You know?
Yeah,
But-
moving on.
But moving on, but happier stuff. I don't know. What comedy, right?
Yeah. Are you
Transition.
all right?
You've had a busy
I'll
couple
give you
years.
one. What about I hear rumor you're working with Johnny Knoxville on something.
I've not met him yet, but
You son of a bitch.
He's hero. That's
Literally
easy.
my hero.
I'll absolutely I'll see if I can FaceTime with you with
Oh
him.
my god. I would probably ejaculate, to be honest.
I would hope that you wouldn't. So once you
Don't
can
tell him that.
once you can confirm that won't happen,
Okay.
I'll make the FaceTime. No, it's I got hired on a show, like that's what I was talking about earlier. The showrunner for The Chase is the showrunner
The
for
prank show.
Yeah, and it's called Prank Star, I guess is the name. It was originally called Prank Tank until Shark Tank had attorneys.
Oh, so it wasn't Prankster? Prank star?
Prank star.
So Shark Tank has tank. Anything tank?
Yeah. They're MGM. They own pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's basically, I mean, it's a really big show. I've only been on it for a week and a half. I don't entirely even know what I'm doing. I was brought in as a supervising producer that I think it probably the show has so many different parts. The show is it's going to be released in January. It's going to pair alongside The Bachelor. So ABC is like crazy behind it and Kimmel's crazy behind it. So it could be a hit or it could be a disaster. I have no idea. It's TV.
What do you think so far?
I love it. It's just really, the thing about it is I'm rarely hired to do what I'm good at. I'm always hired because Newbert can figure it out. And usually when I go into a TV gig, I'm not doing what I want to do, which is lobbing jokes.
Yeah.
It's all this other stuff as well as lobbing jokes. So it's a lot of prep at this point. It's going to be a very big budget prank show. So there's going to be very elaborate pranks that are very expensive.
I was talking to Michelle on the way here, and I don't know if any of what we were talking about is for air. You know, about the contestants on this particular show and like kind of having to vet whether they can handle it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You want to explain that a little bit?
But it's prank though. Prank is a different world. Like I don't like to be mean at all, but the world of prank is.
What the
What do you
hell is
do?
going on?
Over things. I'm sorry. No sleep, you guys. Don't mind
She's
me.
fine.
The world of prank is
Graceful.
mean.
Yeah.
So it's just mean. So everything is mean. But we have to interview these people to see whether or not they're going to kill themselves afterwards or like freak out or.
Yeah. And you're a good gauge of people. You've got a background.
I mean, if they give you the questions. It's hard not to get what they want. But yeah, you can definitely tell. And it's just like there's some people who are.
Unstable.
Yeah, and there's there's just so many people and so many different people.
I always thought about that with like scare tactics. Some of those, like, because that's different than a prank.
yeah.
Like that's putting people in some weird fucking situation,
Yeah.
like life and death situations. Like
Life and
how do
therapy
you-
after.
How do you
Yeah.
know how these people are going to react? Like they're
don't.
just going to choke somebody out.
What-
You know, start swinging, like
Yeah.
you know, whatever, run into traffic. Like
So-
just
but they have security in case that
Yeah,
happens, and they have all
yeah.
that stuff. But the way it is like, let's say, okay, the way they set it up is the casting team sent out emails. Let's say you randomly got one, and it says, "Hey, man, is there anybody who you really want to prank, who you really want to get back?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to prank T-Roy, and this is what I want to do." And you come up with some prank, whatever it is. You pitch it to the show. The show then has 8 writers who take your idea. And we all have they have this huge budget. But at the same time, so you're under the impression, they're like, all right, listen, when we prank T-Roy with the he got 3 girls pregnant thing, you're going to do this and you're going to whatever. So I'm going to need to ask you about your prank. But while I'm asking you about your prank, I'm also asking you questions about yourself and secretly getting them in. I'm like, tell me what Troy's afraid of. You're like, oh, he's afraid of the color brown. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How about you? You afraid of anything? And it's like you do it off, like, and they're like, oh, dude, I can't stand snakes. Oh, okay, that's cool. Back to your friend. So, blah, blah, blah. So the snakes thing, and like, then we're setting up snakes for you.
Oh.
So even though you're on the show, you're going to talk to the celebrities to come up with a prank that's going to prank Troy. We are also conspiring to prank you for your deepest, darkest fears, your
so
weirdness.
actually, he's the prankee.
It's going to be 50-50.
Both.
Okay, so
Both. So you
So
never...
you're fucking your buddy over, but then you're getting.
Oh, karma's a bitch. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's just like
What
some
could
of the pranks
possibly go wrong?
Some of the pranks are so mean, and
Really?
some of them are like
Like
terrible.
what level of mean? Like what do you? I obviously you can't give away
Spoiler alert.
spoilers, but
It's just stuff that just like, I mean, funny, yes, but just like, okay, one that I heard, which I thought was just so mean, but hilarious.
yeah.
So it got rejected anyway. So basically what happened was there was this guy who's a makeup artist, and his friend wants to prank him for getting back at whatever. So basically they're going to set up a wedding where he's doing makeup for all of the bridesmaids and the bride. And what's going to happen is the bride is going to keep flirting with him the entire time. And the bridesmaids are going to flirt with him, whatever. So then she's going to call off the wedding because she's in love with the makeup artist. And I think he was like gay and shy and didn't like conversations with people. So just imagine this huge wedding stops and everyone comes up
Focuses on him.
and he's like, ah. So that's super fucking mean.
Yeah, it's super fucking funny.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
ultimately,
So why was that rejected?
I mean, like I'm brought in at the beginning of the show to do the ending part of the show, so I'm still part of this. So I don't know the process, what booted them or kicked them out. But once if whoever's there in 2 months when we actually start shooting, because we're going to shoot the prank separate and we're going to shoot the studio separate, and it's going to be.
So
a
is
big
it
show.
like, is it hosted by Knoxville, or is he just an
From
exec?
from what I understand, the last I knew, the hosts of the show were Eric Andre, Johnny Knoxville, and Gabby Sidibe, the woman from Precious. Those
Okay.
are the 3 hosts, and yeah, that's pretty much all I know. And we're just interviewing people.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just
Did you see the new Jackass, by the way?
I did. My friend Rachel Wolfson, if you ever want to do the show, I'm sure she would.
Okay.
She's the new female cast member. She's great.
Is she the one that gets bit?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'd
Rachel.
love to have her on.
she's great. Just let me
Yeah.
know. I'll put you guys in touch.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was their best one yet.
It was
I
good.
thought it
'cause
was the best Jackass movie they've done.
It's because the narrative they used, they had a storyline versus the other ones didn't have a storyline.
What do you mean?
The beginning it talked about COVID and the shutdown and what happened and the process, and they showed you the process and they showed you what it was like on set.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff was interesting because it's still like if I'm on set, this is the first job I've had since the pandemic where I don't have to wear a mask every day to work.
Still got to get the shove up your nose.
3
every day.
times a week.
3 times.
3 times a week. And I mean, I had to have it done yesterday here, and I have to do it. You brought those tests?
I did.
And then I have to do 2 tests. I have to test tomorrow and send that in. And it's just crazy, but it's just like, I'm excited for it.
That's nuts. I know. I kind of gave Michelle shit the other day. She posted. She was at some club wearing a. I'm like, what are you doing wearing a mask?
No, we were going to a theater show, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's masks mandatory."
Yeah, sometimes
in
you
the
have to.
Crazy.
whole
Yeah,
show.
because
Theaters here still do it.
Huh?
Theaters here still do it.
absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, because the
Closed
performers
spaces.
insist on it.
Yep. Yeah, like the opera house stuff.
Oh,
not like the
like
Fox
the
Theater.
Fox Theater,
No, not
State
to see a
Theater.
concert.
Like,
no,
never.
Because I went down to that Van Gogh thing. I went by
Oh, yeah.
one of those, the Gem or one of the little
Yeah, the more
theaters down there.
hoity-toity it is, the more
Yeah,
masks.
Exactly, and there was
are
signs
likely.
all over it that masks were required.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
So you guys are still pretty masked up in LA.
No, I just did Ubers and Lyfts. It's 50-50.
They don't care.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on set, like once we start recording, I'll have to wear a mask and a fucking face shield.
Because if anyone gets sick, that's money.
Super money. Like you
Shuts it
lose.
all
It
down.
Yeah,
costs.
but that's not going to stop COVID spread. Masks,
But the face shield.
The face shield.
face shield. Yeah. Okay.
I listen. All I know is,
I mean, it's not your call. I
it's not
understand.
my
that,
call, and
but
it's super easy to wear it. Because like once I close my door,
Not for me.
well, sure.
Fuck.
He's got all that fur around his face. So
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
don't-
even get anywhere
Yeah.
near his
Doesn't
mouth.
get enough-
He's fine.
I'm
He's got a
fine.
buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wear the sunglasses with the shield, so I look pretty cool.
I got mine over here.
Yeah, it's definitely a look.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
When it gets hot in here,
Yeah.
or when it's the skylight,
Futuristic.
Yeah, a little too
when the
bright.
skylight's there, someone
I
set these
like
for me,
that
and
look.
it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
those are
dude.
dope.
You get it.
Mm.
You understand it
Yeah,
completely.
I totally get it. God, I look like an asshole.
It's high fashion.
Well, that's exciting stuff, dude. What else are you working on? I've got The Chase.
Chase
That's-
is done. Hopefully that'll be season 4 next year sometime.
Yeah.
Hotties just dropped.
Hotties has dropped and it's doing really good.
Were you watching that yesterday,
yeah,
T?
yeah.
Did you laugh at all?
Huh?
Did you laugh at all?
Did you write those jokes?
Every fucking dick joke on there.
Yep.
Nonstop.
I figured. I smelled them. I was like, that's a Newberg.
Every-
That's a Newberg.
Well,
and
it's-
yes, I was laughing uproariously.
But it's
a great show.
It's a
It
fun
is.
show.
It is, actually.
What
No,
is
it
it?
was great.
Explain it to people that don't know what
Yep.
it is.
Well, I'm sure no one knows what it is.
On Hulu.
It's on Hulu. It's a show called Hotties. It was super low budget. We did the social experiment where we took 10 females and 10, no, actually it was 10 couples, mixed, lesbian, gay, straight, whatever. And we took them as blind dates and we had them talk for a minute, or 5 minutes actually. And then they had an envelope between them. They open up the envelope and it's a recipe. So then they have a recipe that they have to work together on and make in an hour and 15 minutes. So then they each go into these food trucks. And then the timer starts. They have to work together. All the ingredients for whatever it is they're trying to make is there. However, every 15 minutes, a cloche comes in with something that's so uncomfortably hot, that spicy that they have to eat it before they continue. And whereas Tabasco is like 1,000 Scoville heat units, our minimal is 200,000. And then we go to 500,000 and then 1,000,000. So it's like hot. It's sort of like the Wings show.
So it's like Hot Ones. Yeah,
but
it's a great show.
But it's a dating show. And you literally, but on top of that, we fucked with people super bad because instead of like milk and other things that you're supposed to do, we put like ranch dressing and like sour cream and flavored.
Yeah.
So their mouths are on fire and they milk.
Just
It's
anything.
buttermilk. What the fuck? And it's just literally torturing people. So I, myself and the host Jade sat in this trailer. I had headphones on, showrunner talking to me. He'd call out the screens because we'd have all the screens in front. He'd be like 2, 6, 8. And then I would
Like
have
a
to
director?
and I would have to write jokes for 2, 6, 8. And Jade, bless her heart, would fucking say anything.
Yeah, she was great.
She said anything.
I was wondering. That was
So
my
you
question.
so you would say something to her and then she would say it?
Yeah, like we'd be watching something happen and like maybe it happened. I'm like, that girl's hot, or like whatever. And I'd say something and Jade would just be like, boom. And I was like, okay. And then you would hear the showrunner either laugh or not.
Not, yeah.
But it's 8 hours. So by the I get 2 hours into it, no one cares.
Yeah.
I was
it's funny.
curious if the jokes that she's spitting out, if those are in the moment as it's going down, or if a lot of that's in post.
It's
Where
both.
she's
It's both.
Yeah.
So what it is they're all written in the moment, and then I have to write I wrote all the endings on the fly. They wanted, for some reason, I wrote the first one and it rhymed, and the person at Hulu loved that.
oh shit.
So they're like, make them all rhyme.
God damn it.
So I was like,
I hate when you do that.
Yeah.
Stumble onto something. Now you got to keep it up.
but it ended up becoming the style of the show, and like they kept wanting more rhymes. So when we would do post, I would get like a page of stuff that I had to punch up that was just not heard audio wise. So some of it was in post, but most of it was just live.
Yeah, right.
What do you ever get a writer's block in the moment? Like that seems like such pressure to be able to write a joke on the spot in real time.
It's just, I mean, it's something you condition yourself to do. It's like we are all good at what we're good at, and it's just time. And it's like there's basic formula to a joke, and there's just there's a fast way. Like when you're doing television, it's about brevity and lean, and you just have to make it the quickest way to the punch.
Yeah.
So you just know it's just like,
What's the formula when you're talking about joke writing? Like there's a chemistry or a formula to it?
I mean, it's
If it's
probably,
funny, say it.
It's
Yeah.
it's probably a bigger talk than like it's you think, but you just figure there's just a quick way to get there, and it's like repetition is the way you do it, and it's
Yeah.
like you just listen, and then I mean the way I do it is my basic tricks is I listen and I think of the funniest possible thing I can think of, and then I pitch whatever the opposite of that is, because then we have the funniest thing as a backup, and we also have a different thought process because you never like once you've decided on something like. Knock knock, who's there? Ball sack who? Ball sack full of penises, blah. You've made your decision, that's whatever the joke is. But if you know in advance, you can switch it. You know that it's going to be ball sack or
interesting, yeah.
penises. You know that ball sack full of penises is the funniest thing. You're like, all right, well, what'd be the opposite of that? And then I think maybe like a jug of vaginas would be funnier.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then I pitched jug of vaginas because everyone's sort of secretly anticipating bucket of penises or whatever.
Right.
And then you have that to come back to if you need it. So it's kind of like you don't pitch your best stuff first.
That's interesting. I would have never thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. But
Hold off a little bit.
hold off a little bit. And also whenever you're in a writer's room, it's exhausting because you have the funniest people you've ever met. And they're all self-deprecating, and they're all like they're so reluctant to pitch their ideas. They could have the greatest idea. It could be the best writer's room,
Yeah.
the funniest people. Every one of them pitches their idea like this. You're probably not going to think this is funny. And I think most of that I was talking about it. I was talking about it with Mike, so it's kind of on Mike. It's kind of Mike's idea. And then they pitch the thing, and you're just like, oh, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
See, that's the opposite, I would imagine. Like I picture it as like you guys, your car ride to to the boat,
Oh,
the
Great.
Detroit
Yeah,
style
holy
thing.
shit.
Just ripping off each other, just
wish I
one after the
recorded that
next, all that.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
I've never
Like, that's how
me,
I
you,
just
and Raj
picture
and
it.
Michelle have never laughed. I've never laughed that hard in my life.
Oh my gosh.
So fucking fun.
that was just
So
a lucky,
funny.
it was a lucky, fun moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I always pictured it. It's just,
it's
just one
fun.
up in each other.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
just
fun.
just a comedian.
It's fun
Sometimes-
when you can stay in the game and it's like, okay, you're hanging with these people. We're equals in this moment, shitting all over each other
Right.
and whatever, our city, and just having a blast. And it's like, yeah, it's amazing. But
Yeah, I mean, funny's funny. If you're good at it, you're good at it. Here comes the commercial now.
Oh man, well, you know my cues.
let Michelle do a commercial.
Do it.
All right, you guys. This part of the show is sponsored by the Party Pub.
Yeah.
If you want to impress everyone at your graduation party, wedding reception,
What the hell?
poker night, MMA viewing party, or for any other reason, then you need to contact the Party Pub, a massive inflatable pub that can be set up wherever you choose. Oh, this sounds fun. They also have all the best party games, beanbag toss, badminton, giant inflatable screens, and much more. Call Jeff at 586-524-6701 or visit thepartypubrentals.com and take your event to the next level.
That's the best party pub rentals read we've had so far.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, how many
By
people mad?
far.
How many
10%
people jerked
discount
off to
too
that?
Right?
for
A lot.
TDC listeners and 2 free games.
There you go. Yeah, you got.
Oh, say that last part again. I think I was
the
talking.
handwritten stuff in there.
10% discount for TDC listeners and 2 free games.
Bam.
Hey, Chris, do you know if people under 21 can get into
18 and over.
Really?
Yeah.
You think we could sneak a 17-year-old in?
I don't know. I sure as fuck wouldn't answer that on air.
We have a big fan of yours, listener, that's like, hey, I kind of want to bring my son. It's like, wow, get him a fake ID. Go to Bob's photo ID.
Yeah.
I think they've been cool about that in the past. I would have to ask them.
I can't imagine they.
I'm sure we could.
I'm sure it's probably
figure
doable,
something.
but I'm
Look,
not answering.
he wants to come into the club and get shit-faced with the rest of us.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
Why did you
mean,
just say that?
Yeah, so
I think it's probably different if you're coming in with a parent. They're probably less likely
Probably.
to card than just walking in on
probably.
your
Yeah,
own. You know.
everyone knows that the parent bought for you.
Well, the problem is though is they probably have to when you're that they probably have to card to whether or not you get the 21 stamp or whatever the hell it is too if it's 18 and up. So you may have
Yeah.
to verify whether or not you're 21, or you just say no, I'm 18, and then they don't even just.
He can
fine.
pose as my makeup artist, and we'll just sneak him in.
Oh, there
through
you
the
go.
back.
There you go. Sure.
Are you going to take the stage this weekend?
I wasn't planning on it, but I did bring some hula hoops and
Just in case.
costumes, just in case.
You going to go swim with Cece?
That's for here.
I am going to swim with Cece.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
wait.
I know you brought your bathing suit. We'll get some good pictures of you out there.
My girl.
Yeah. Oh, Cece went crazy when she saw Michelle.
I love
Just
that
loves
puppy
it.
love.
Big fan. She is a lesbian.
Begging Chris for us to get a dog.
Yeah.
And I told her January,
January?
but not before. I'm just at work all the time, and
Yeah.
someone I'm in love with sleeps too much for me to trust that they will handle the
What if I had a
responsibility.
dog?
Yeah.
Hey, have you been watching Hard Knocks?
I saw the first episode, and
Are you falling for it?
I mean,
It's propaganda.
listen,
I'm falling for it. I'm
I-
not proud of it, but I'm falling for it.
why are you fighting it? Like, what's
Because
wrong?
I don't want to. The team has sucked for so long.
How
and
good?
it's-
But the greatest. Did you see them do the most Detroit Lions thing ever against Atlanta? Like
Yes,
that. Like
yes.
that was the greatest first game ever. They were crushing them the entire time.
Yeah.
And then they won. But I was expecting them to lose last week. I don't
And
know.
then almost lost that one too. Exactly.
Listen. It's weird. Last year I didn't have DirecTV, and I watched more Lions games because they just happened to be on. They were on Monday Night Football twice, or whatever, or they were on Thanksgiving, and they were on another, and they were
yeah.
on against San Francisco, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I think he's a good talker. The
coach,
he's
Dan
good.
Campbell?
He's
Yep.
good at talking.
Yeah, he is. People are loving him too. It's funny. People give him so much credit for shit. You know, like his speeches riling everyone up, and he had that one speech. And I don't care if you got one ass cheek and 3 toes. I'm still gonna kick your ass. And people are like, yeah. And it's like, it sounds like you're attacking disabled
hell
people.
does that even
sir.
mean?
I don't even know what that means. Like, of all the things you could say,
Right.
I don't care if you have 4 asses and 36 toes. It's like, well, that seems like a challenge.
Well, this whole
You know
thing
what I mean?
started with biting kneecaps. So I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't.
I remember that from 8th grade
yeah,
football.
That was
But bite kneecaps.
Yeah, I remember Chris Petrangeli's father used to be like, "You're either gonna eat his lunch or bite him in the kneecap." And I was like, I hate football.
Yeah. I don't even know what that means.
I'm all for it. I mean, I can honestly tell you, moving from a city who's challenged sports wise to going to Los Angeles, it doesn't suck. I mean, the Lakers for the most, I think they already won a championship since I've been there.
Yeah.
The Chargers aren't bad. They
No,
play in
they're
the same
great.
place. All the sports,
Rams won the Super Bowl.
Stafford. I mean, I took that. Absolutely. That's a win for me.
Yep.
And
It was a win for all of us. We were all
Yeah, everybody. It's like such a good thing. And
the AT&T commercial he came out with afterwards.
it killed.
Brilliant.
It was great. Yeah,
Brilliant.
And it ran constantly in Los Angeles as
It
well.
ran constantly in Detroit.
Yeah, the wink is the best part, and I bet that was improvised. I bet you $1 million the wink was improvised.
Really?
Yeah, there was no way
At the
that.
very end with the ting.
Well, like when he winked to camera, there was a separate shot. I mean, well, you can tell it's a separate shot automatically.
It's perfect.
Yeah, so the director was probably like, "I love what you did. That's great. Let's just shoot one where after you say, experience of my life, wink to camera." And he was probably like, "Oh, okay. It's a separate shot. It almost looks like a separate tone of the commercial,
Yeah.
but it's the best part of the commercial."
Yeah.
And
It's fantastic.
It makes them human, makes them humble. It's just, I mean, there's so much, they're so specific, and there's so much thought put into those dumb commercials.
Yeah.
It's
They're
just-
great though. Those AT&T commercials are fantastic.
Yeah, they were killing it there for a while.
Yeah.
And they make so much money. That Lily chick is so rich.
Really?
I'm sure
Yeah.
she makes $2 to $3 million a year easy on that campaign.
Wow.
Easy.
Yeah. I wonder why more aren't able to do that. Like be that successful with their commercial campaigns. Like the one for the one for Progressive right now.
Flow.
Fuck.
Oh yeah.
Is it still Flow?
It's Flo and
No, no,
Jamie.
no. Wait. What's the one with the guy that tries to stop you from becoming your parents?
That's Progressive.
Progressive, yeah.
But they also have several different, like they've got the Flow campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They've got that old guy campaign.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like
so good.
And they were the people who had those the Minute Bowl, not Minute Bowl, the camel.
No, not in my
Yeah.
house.
The humpback day. I almost fucking booked that commercial, by the way.
Which one?
I came down. It was me and the big dude with the beard. Those two guys who played guitar and did jokes.
Oh yeah.
I was on hold for
Really?
that fucking commercial.
Really?
I would have had so many. It's just next level money. It makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard commercials is fucking real money.
It's campaign not
Not
so
all
much.
of them, but
Not so much anymore. They're very. It's rare that you get residuals, but some like the campaign ones pay residuals.
Yeah.
Like Jade just did a commercial, and it ended up being 20 commercials because the way they cut it. So she shot the minute commercial, and then they did a 30-second version cut.
20, 15.
40, all that stuff. So
Yep.
she got paid individual for shooting one for all of them. And I want to say that she made like 30 grand or something.
Who is this?
A friend of mine who's an actress.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think she got like 30 grand for one day of work.
Wow.
And it's like even like voiceover back in the day. Like I did that Costa Rica tourism. I think it's still like maybe one video on YouTube, and I was the voice of a sloth. I worked 2 days and I got 15 grand.
Really?
That's just the money.
You're the perfect voice for a sloth, by the way.
That campaign killed, but they only used me one time. It sucked.
I gotta
Can
figure
you
out some
find it?
voiceover work.
Easy, see if you can
Yeah.
find it. What
It'd
would
have to be what company it was for.
You would just have to write in Mr. Sloth, and it's an animated. Literally everyone was, hey,
what?
everybody.
Isis?
I mean, it's like, I don't know if you'll find it if it's gone or whatever, but
Well, like, I mean, I'm seriously. Do you remember what company that all it was for, or travel
Let's
company?
find
or-
it.
Just saying-
it's Costa Rica tourism.
Okay.
There you go. Check it out.
I mean, I bet I could find it.
Hey, while we're waiting.
Hey,
Hey, everybody. The excitement continues at Zott Ford as 2023 Ford vehicles become available for custom ordering. As of today, you can custom order your 23 Ford F-150, Ranger, Expedition, Explorer, Edge, Bronco Sport, Transit Van, and Connect. And over the next few weeks, the Super Duty, Maverick, and Mach-E are going to be available. Plus, when you order from our friends at Zott Ford, they're going to lock in not $500, but $1,000 in rebates, plus 2.9% financing. As always, the best way to support the show is to support our sponsors. So give Gabar and the team at Zott Ford a shot and let them handle all your automotive needs. You can still get the $500 in free accessories if you take delivery by the end of the month. You can find the details in their growing inventory at dealsinthed.com and tell them that TDC sent you.
And you're lucky?
I mean, I don't know.
Here, if I
Here,
look at-
you
Come
found
here.
it.
no,
Here.
I mean, I don't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I can
take
show you what
those
I'm
off.
typing in. I mean,
Oh, I can see over there. Oh, just
Go
type
ahead.
in, Mr. Sloth.
Costa Rica tourism. Well,
Corsica.
Corsica.
How the- that's
Jesus,
not how you spell
okay.
it.
Well, I don't know how to spell.
Yeah,
I don't know how to spell.
You should see him right.
Mr. Sloth, Costa.
Corsica.
Corsica.
Places to see in Corsica, France. So I can see
Oh,
where the
there. Is that it right
confusion
there?
came in.
No, that one. It's that one right there.
This one?
The
Okay.
$1 million gift of happiness.
Oh yeah.
Are we going to see it? It's pretty
Yeah.
excellent.
I don't know how to spell at all. So
Oh my God.
Create a
gotta watch a
professional
commercial. I love watching commercials before I'm about to watch a commercial on YouTube. But
Yeah.
Hello, Americas. I'm a sloth.
did I remember
A
this?
sloth that lives in the happiest country in the world,
Yeah, I
Costa
do.
Rica. For the next few months, we'll be giving out hundreds of trips totaling $1 million to people who need a little more happiness.
Were you like 9 in this?
I know.
Costa
Yeah.
Rica's
Voice
$1
sounds
million gift of happiness.
No, there's a trick to it.
Now, some people ask me, why are Costa Ricans so happy, Mr. Sloth? Simple. Number one, we have 5% of the Earth's biodiversity.
I don't remember
Louis,
it being this long.
Jorge, you guys look really great today. 2, we have 2 oceans. 3, we have friendly locals. Hola, Mr. Sloth. You're handsome, and your fur is algae-free. Thanks, Freddie. And finally, reason number 4. Talking sloths.
You're so cute.
That's great.
Maybe I did.
That's great.
You ever seen it?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's
no.
great.
I would, if that just aired on TV today.
Oh my
It could
gosh.
fly. Still relevance. I would not recognize that as your voice. I mean,
No, 'cause
watching
I-
it, knowing it's you, I can hear it. But
Your voice changed over the years.
yeah,
Well, no, I did. I talk. There was a specific way I did that voice.
why?
But I think it was like, I made it a little higher. I was like, "Hola, Mr. Sloth,"
Yeah.
and it's like, so it was definitely a specific choice.
So, were there other people up for that gig, or how
Probably.
did you get it?
I mean, voiceover was always so weird for me. You just go in and read, and eventually you'll book one of every 30 or 40 that you go in for.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't kill it at voiceover because I didn't understand it very much. It's a very, very specific, very intricate art. But
So, were you watching the sloth as you record that, or you have no idea what it looks like?
no,
or
I
what
just
they're
get the
gonna do?
copy, and
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It seems like it'd be the easiest gig in the
it's
world.
just so hard because it's all about inflection and it's all about specific notes and syllables and how fast you do it. But I mean, I did a bunch of McDonald's commercials because I
Did you?
sound Midwest McDonald's-y.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that too.
When
Do
I-
the ba-da-ba-ba. Yeah.
but yeah, it just looks like. I mean, I sound like I would be eating a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody,
Yeah.
you out of breath? Me too.
Well, we should get you out of here, dude.
Thank you.
You've got a show to do tonight at 7:30 for those listening live. Also tomorrow, Friday night at 7:15, and then we've got 2 shows on Saturday night, the 27th at 7 o'clock and 9:30. Michelle, it's so great to see you.
Thank you for having
Of
me.
course,
it's great to be
anytime.
back.
Anytime. Chris, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for having
in.
me.
Is there anything else you want to plug or anything I didn't mention?
No, that's fine.
You sure?
I mean, I have a podcast.
Yes. Everyone has a great publicist. I love it.
I couldn't remember.
I wonder how much shit you get for having Amy on all the time.
I get shit occasionally for Amy, but I get 2 messages for Amy.
You and Isis are Eskimo brothers.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Right.
great. Yeah, no, it's great. I get shit all the time for Amy in 2 capacities. I either get so hot Amy was on, nice.
Yeah, and you're
And-
like, okay.
I'm like, yeah, and I don't know how to respond to this. And then, oh, she's so political. Those are 2 things I get on her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're both,
True.
Both right.
both true. She's
Love Amy.
a pretty lady, smart.
Yeah, she's great. She's very, very smart. I don't know if you're aware, but
No, she's super smart, and I don't agree with like 90% of the things she says. But she's,
Really?
not 90, but like
she's pretty rational. I know she's very, very conservative and right wing, but
no. Let me just say, I don't disagree. I just a lot of times I'll see things differently than her, but I love that. I don't want someone to agree with me.
yeah.
Yeah, we used to be able to disagree and get along. And what a beautiful
Yeah.
world that would be.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Fun.
All right, kids. Thanks
All
for
right.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. All
Kill
right,
it this weekend.
Well, have fun this weekend, and we'll be hanging out. We'll see you at the Late Show Saturday night, Chris. I'm
I'll
looking
be there.
forward to it. I hope you'll be there.
I'll be there.
And yeah, we'll just kill it there. Thanks, everybody. We'll have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.